Why don't molecules grow endlessly into gigantic structures? After all, atoms can keep bonding, and polymers like DNA or plastics can reach millions of atomic units. So, what sets the upper limit? Why do molecules, even the largest ones like proteins or synthetic polymers, eventually stop growing? The answer lies in a balance of energetics, geometry, entropy, and environmental stability, all of which govern how atoms can arrange and hold together. To begin with, chemical bonding is not limitless. Each atom has a specific number of available electrons in its outer shell that determine how many bonds it can form. For example, carbon typically forms 4 bonds, nitrogen 3, oxygen 2, and hydrogen just 1. This means that even in large networks, the bonding rules impose strict structural constraints. Once all bonding sites are used up, or the molecule curls back on itself, the growth halts. Trying to force additional atoms into the structure would create strain and instability. Another major factor is geometric strain. As a molecular chain grows, it bends, twists, or folds. This distortion builds up steric hindrance, where atoms begin to crowd each other, repelling due to electron cloud overlap. This causes energy penalties and makes the structure less favorable. Beyond a certain size, adding more atoms becomes energetically costly. In proteins, for instance, the chain stops growing once it has folded into a stable shape, a phenomenon governed by thermodynamics. Let us also consider entropic limits. As molecules grow larger, especially in solution, they have more possible configurations, but organizing them into a single functional molecule means reducing entropy, something nature doesn't favor unless the energy gain from bonding outweighs the disorder cost. This is why self-assembling systems like micelles or DNA helices often have preferred sizes. Beyond a point, the entropy penalty is too great. And then there's the stability issue. Large molecules are more susceptible to breakdown from thermal vibrations, UV light, chemical reactions, or mechanical stress. Nature avoids this by evolving repair mechanisms, like in DNA, or by keeping functional molecules within a stable size range. For instance, proteins tend to max out at tens of thousands of atoms because larger ones are harder to fold correctly and more likely to misbehave. Some might ask, what about crystals or infinite polymers? Crystals do grow indefinitely, but they are repeating solids, not discrete molecules. In contrast, a molecule must be a covalently bonded unit, usually of a defined size. Even polymers like polyethylene have chain length limits in practice due to how they're synthesized and processed. Infinite molecules, in the sense of unending covalent chains, are physically implausible. At some point, they become bulk material, not single definable molecules. So molecules don't grow forever because of atomic valency, 3D spatial limits, entropy costs, and chemical instability. Molecules are bound by rules, not just of chemistry, but of information, shape, and resilience. And in that elegant boundary lies their function. Life itself depends on the fact that molecules are large enough to be complex, but small enough to be controlled. Molecular systems adopt sizes that minimize their free energy, balancing enthalpic bond formation against entropic disorder. As molecules grow larger, the incremental bond energy gain per added atom diminishes while conformational entropy loss increases. Beyond a certain size, additional subunits raise the overall free energy, making assembly unfavorable. This energy minimum defines a characteristic maximal stable size under given conditions. Thus, infinite growth is precluded by thermodynamic cost. Polystyrene chains in solution reach a limiting degree of polymerization where further monomer addition is offset by entropy loss. It's like piling stones in a cairn until adding another stone makes the pile more likely to topple than to stabilize. Every chemical bond has a finite dissociation energy, so as molecules lengthen, the cumulative probability of spontaneous bond rupture increases. Thermal fluctuations impart enough energy to break long chains at weak links, fragmenting oversized molecules. Reaction kinetics dictates that beyond a critical length, bond breaking rates outpace formation rates. Consequently, molecules cannot grow indefinitely without continuous repair or stabilization mechanisms. This balance between bond formation and breakage limits molecular size. Ultra-long polyethylene chains, millions of units, break down under mild heat into shorter fragments over time. It's like a long rope that, under constant pulling, eventually frays and snaps at its weakest points. Large molecules suffer severe restrictions in their possible conformations, leading to entropic penalties that discourage further elongation. As chain length increases, the number of accessible conformational states does not scale linearly, reducing entropy gain per added unit. This entropic bottleneck makes very large molecules statistically rare in equilibrium. Biological polymers exploit chaperones or templating to bypass these constraints but cannot achieve infinite size. Thus, entropy fundamentally caps molecular dimensions. In unfolded proteins, increasing polypeptide length dramatically narrows the conformational ensemble, impeding spontaneous folding. It's like extending a slinky so far that it can only coil in a limited number of ways before becoming rigid. Atoms occupy finite volumes and exhibit repulsive interactions at short range, Pauli exclusion, preventing arbitrary close packing. As a molecule grows, crowded substitutes experience steric clashes that raise local energy. Van der Waals repulsion between overlapping electron clouds further limits how many atoms can fit in a region without destabilizing the structure. These steric and repulsive forces create a natural size ceiling for stable molecular architecture. Branch dendrimers reach a generation where new branches cannot attach due to overcrowded surface groups. It's like trying to pack too many people into an elevator. At some point, there's simply no room to squeeze anyone else in. In solution or gas phase, larger molecules diffuse more slowly, reducing collision frequency required for further growth. Reaction rates for monomer addition decrease with size due to lower mobility and steric shielding of reactive sites. If the time to incorporate new units exceeds that for degradation or aggregation, net growth stalls. Thus, kinetic factors in molecular encounters set practical size limits. Synthetic polymers above a certain molecular weight no longer grow appreciably because monomer collisions are too infrequent. It's like trying to add more bricks to a wall when the delivery truck gets stuck in traffic. The slowdown halts construction. Extended conjugation or delocalization of electrons stabilizes certain polymers up to a point. But beyond that, electronic instabilities, Peyrols distortion, or polaron formation localize charges and disrupt conductivity. Quantum calculations show that very long p systems suffer bond alternation that breaks delocalization. This electronic instability imposes a maximum effective length for conductive or aromatic chains. Therefore, quantum mechanical effects cap molecular size in conjugated systems. Polyacetylene chains longer than a few hundred units develop bond alternation patterns that limit further delocalization. It's like a troupe of dancers linking arms in a line. After a certain length, coordination fails and the line breaks into shorter segments. Large molecular assemblies expose surfaces that interact unfavorably with solvents, incurring high surface energy penalties. To minimize interfacial energy, molecules fold or aggregate, preventing linear or planar infinite extension. Solvation shells and hydration forces further drive compaction. Without external templating or scaffolding, molecules adopt finite sizes that balance bulk cohesion and surface stability. Amphiphilic block copolymers form finite-sized micelles rather than infinite rods due to balancing core and corona interfacial energies. It's like a soap bubble that holds a fixed size because surface tension prevents indefinite expansion. As molecules grow, the probability of incorporating structural defects, misfolds, mismatches, or vacancies increases, which act as stress concentrators. Under environmental or mechanical stress, defects propagate cracks or cleavage points that fragment the molecule. The accumulation of defects over time ensures that very large molecules do not persist intact. Maintenance processes in living systems counteract this, but cannot prevent an absolute size ceiling. DNA strands longer than tens of megabases accumulate nicks and breaks that cellular repair machinery cannot fully correct. It's like a long train track that, after too many rails, develops misalignments and breaks. In living organisms, molecular machines evolve to specific sizes optimized for function, transport, and regulation. Proteins larger than a few thousand amino acids face folding challenges, aggregation risk, and inefficient synthesis. Cells employ modular domains rather than infinite single chains to perform complex tasks. Evolutionary pressures thus favor assemblies of finite, reusable units over monolithic macromolecules. Functional imperatives in catalysis, signaling, and structural support therefore impose practical upper bounds on molecular size. Titin, the largest known human protein, tilde 30,000 amino acids, is modular and repeats domains to maintain foldability without infinite length. It's like building with prefabricated Lego bricks rather than forging a single unbroken beam kilometers long.